Hello, everyone. Once again, it is Saturday, and so there's an update for Roots. I've begun completely overhauling City 17. The map is in a state now where it's not quite ready to put on the server, and so you're not going to see that at the moment, but it is in the works. The changes are big and they're going to have a massive effect on gameplay. However, there are some things that I've added this week that are leading up to this change. A lot of it is bug fixes, and there's also some changes to the prison system and civil protection in preparation for how they're going to patrol this new City 17. The first major change has to do with the prison system, of course, and that is a merging of the existing prison system and the existing death system to try to create something that is a better way of handling the OOC punishment, that is the timeout out of character from the game. Normally, the prison system handles that. However, I wanted the prison system to be changed to not only make civil protection more intimidating and easier to use, but also better reflect Half-Life 2's atmosphere and lore. The residents of City 17 are not very well cared for by civil protection. One of the things that's always kind of stood out in Roots as being a relic of the past was the arrest system. It was a bit too forgiving, the idea of somebody going into jail and then being let out despite having committed assumedly a quite heinous crime in the world of the Combine. The system is being changed, not only in its functionality, but also in its consequences. First, if you are arrested, the sentence now is very minor, possibly only a minute long, and in the future, it will change the lore behind what is actually happening to your character. If you comply with civil protection, OOCly, the punishment is much less harsh, because there's a number of reasons why you might want to capture, interrogate, or haul somebody off for a valid in-character reason, but not necessarily punish them out of character by putting them in timeout for 15 minutes or so. Something like that doesn't really contribute to the feeling of the game, it just feels unfair. Even worse, if you're a minge who's running around screaming your head off, mic spamming, etc., causing lots of problems, if they can't catch up to you and subdue you with the stun stick, then they're chasing you halfway across the city, and it looks a bit silly. But not only that, if they shoot you to try to stop you from running, then you just respawn. There isn't any punishment. So what I've done is I've swapped the consequences for the two. Death was already something that doesn't really happen in the day-to-day. On Roots, even rebels die so rarely. They're so focused on survival in the Outlands that it's something that only happens once in a blue moon. And as a citizen, it's even more rare. But for a minge, it could be quite common. And that's the kind of behavior that we're trying to tackle, because that's the sort of thing that takes other people out of the game. The old arrest stacking system, where being arrested repeatedly would increase the sentence, has been transitioned into something different, something I call purgatory. It's now built into the death system instead of the arrest. Now, if you die, just once, normally, like you might on occasion, you won't notice anything different, everything's the same. But if you die again in a very short period of time, you'll notice you've been transported to a place, and you stay there for a little while. Short at first, only a minute. But if you keep dying, if you keep repeating whatever behavior led you there, then you'll stay for longer and longer, just like the arrest stacking system. But because this results from death, it's a lot easier for civil protection to dish out this punishment to those that deserve it. In the future, things like execution from civil protection will be a little bit more standard as means of punishing people for certain crimes. However, that's not quite worked into the game just yet. I want to implement a new citation system before I do something like that. Outside of the prison system, civil protection itself has received a number of major changes. The effect of the stun stick has been nerfed so that you're not completely blind unless you're fully stunned. You're still made aware of the fact that you're being hit with the stun stick, but it isn't incapacitating until the point you've been hit to the point of actually fully stunned. the punishments that Overwatch would automatically dish out for noticing you doing something bad, such as using invalid terminology or, say, picking up something off of the ground that you shouldn't be, those punishments have been relaxed substantially. They're half, and in some cases less than half, as large of a deduction as it was previously. It was good to have them be quite large at first, to really shock the system into proper behavior. But now, it's okay for me to dial it back a little bit, because really, anything that causes somebody to lose rank points is something they're going to avoid doing at all costs. And so the punishment doesn't need to be quite so harsh. In parallel with this, I've also fixed the supervisor tools. For those of you who don't know, supervisor is an out-of-character sort of thing that allows a trusted member of Civil Protection, or, well, a trusted member of the server, to help keep Civil Protection operating smoothly via the anonymous dispatch. That has been reworked slightly, so it's a bit easier to use, and it's also fixed, because it wasn't accessible after the CP update. But that's all working now, so that's good. Now, this is all in preparation for the new map update, which I'm going to continue working on over the course of this next week, and hopefully I'll have something to show off by the end of the week. No promises, this map stuff takes a while, but I will do my best. It's coming along very well, so stay tuned.